Welcome back to Dad's DeFi space. And here is where we trade smart and not reckless. And thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend it with us. So I'm Kevin. I'm a father, a teacher, and a DeFi and crypto investor. And in today's video, we got all kinds of good stuff for you to make you a better crypto and DeFi trader. So today we're going to be breaking down Bitcoin and Ethereum's next critical levels. But if you want real plays, real analysis, and zero fluff, this video, this live stream is for you. And before we begin, please like and subscribe and share that video out there with anyone who would benefit. Get the word out, help support our mission. So right now we're taking a look at crypto bubbles, and you saw if you're here for the early part of the stream. What's crazy is some of our favorites pumped massively this week. We got Aerodrome almost 13% up on the week. Montis, which suffered almost a 70% drawdown. Our LPs look terrible that we ran in it, but it is back up 57%. And we're keeping an eye on it when we want to pull some of our principal out of those positions. Also, virtuals up 56%. So I'm probably going to sell a little bit off into USDC. Most of that I'm lending over on Moonwell protocol. And if you'd like to keep up with what I'm doing in the markets, please go add us over on X at CryptoZone1013. Find us over on Telegram, join the free Telegram group. And if you're interested in any of our messages, our causes, and everything else, please consider joining Dad's DeFi space. Also, before I get any farther, check out our 20% deposit bonus with Layer Bank. This is only good for a short amount of time. Whatever you deposit, you will get 20% of that deposited in your account as USDT rewards that you can trade with and keep the profits. Now, taking a look at crypto market, you can see that we are right in between fear and greed, sitting between 26 to 28 on the fear, or excuse me, 36 on the fear and greed index and 26 on the altcoin season index. Crypto market cap is sitting at $3.8 trillion. And over the last few days, ETF flows have been negative, but based off price action today, I wouldn't be surprised if we see ETF inflows go up early into next week, but we need to watch the market over rest of this 24-hour period. Now, one of the most important things I wanted to take a look at today was Bitcoin exchange liquidations. We are now a little bit more balanced, but I wanted to point some things out and kind of what I've been thinking as far as my personal DeFi positions and trades. You can see that we have a crap ton of liquidity on the long side of the chart that could be liquidated if we get, or excuse me, the short side of the chart, if we get liquidated, sitting right at around 114,650. Is a huge amount. Like we're talking $166 million, but we also have a whole lot sitting right on the, excuse me, slightly long side around 112 and 111. It's crazy. Now, right now, the price is sitting at 113,639, and it's hard to say what's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if we grab this liquidity up here at 14 and a half sometime today, maybe tomorrow, hard to say, and then retrace back into the maybe 110 region, and they can grab all this liquidity also. And then you basically reset at that point, and we can continue on where maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum can head back up to all-time highs. But the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, very important ones to check. Now, of course, we are only looking at this liquidation map on the daily, but we can take a look at the 7-day. You can see we're heavily skewed immensely, right, on the long side of things. And if we go at the 30-day, Actually, that's kind of weird because a little bit more on the other side. But crazy is looking at this 7 day, we are very heavily skewed and we can see a lot of liquidations if we were to drop back down, as you can see. I mean, right here, you're looking at 5.96 billion. And I want to preface the first liquidation chart we were looking at, which is above it. This is on CoinGlass, by the way, is the Binance Bitcoin liquidation map. And then the one below is actually all exchanges pretty much combined. But if we get back down to 108, 9, you're looking at $3.6 billion worth of liquidations. You go back down to 106.8, you're looking at almost $6 billion in liquidation. So I do not see how we don't go back down and try to grab some of this liquidity before we continue on. That's going to affect our lending positions, our trades, and everything else. But if you stay around a little bit later in the video, you will see that you'll see how we are playing in these markets. Now, let's take a look at our Bitcoin topping signals. This is also CoinGlass, right? It's still 100% in the hold range. People are talking about this, but there are a few that signals, indicators that are a little bit on the hot side. For example, Pi cycle top is above 50%, Pure multiples above 50%, and the rainbow chart. So these are two that have ticked up just slightly. I want to keep an eye on them because they're ones that I watch as the market becomes more overheated. Now, the two that are the closest are still Bitcoin dominance and long-term holder supply. We're going to watch these because when this tops out, that is usually we're going to start to see more and more capital rotating into Ethereum. But if you know us, you know that we are heavy in ETH right now, waiting for that rotation. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin chart real quick. Now, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Okay. Bitcoin very much has been trying to get above the bull market support band. And it's been very difficult for Bitcoin to achieve this just based off the sentiment and conditions in the market over the last few weeks. As you can see, if we go on the weekly chart, because it'll make a little more sense here on the weekly. On the weekly chart, you can see we touched up at the top of our range 3 weeks ago at 126, 350, and we are now sitting right at 13,500. And we bottomed out on this weekly around 106.6, and then the previous one at 103.9. Now, could Bitcoin revisit close to the bottom? It could. Now, I'm going to freak out if we get all the way back down to 103, but I could easily see Bitcoin, if we go to the 4-hour chart, revisiting back to 111.6 for certain, or 111.2. So we're going to mark these on my chart because they're just kind of temporary. You may see this, who knows? And then it looks another zone right down here around 108. These show you kind of good opportunities if you want to be a little more aggressive, providing liquidity. You could go 107 to 111, 108 to 111, or if you want to go more conservative, 108.4 to 114.3. Remember, of course, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research in this space. This is just the way I happen to be looking at the markets, right? But Bitcoin has been on an absolute tear. Right now, we are just barely above the bull market support band on the 4-hour, on the daily, wicked above it, and on the weekly, we're still just barely trying to get above it. I'd like to see us get back above the bull market support band, reclaim 116, and then we can continue on for our next battle, which is probably going to be around 119 to 120, and then again towards the upper part of the range, 123 to 126. Just keep an eye, because if we face a heavy rejection from any of those areas, we are going to retrace. So be careful out there if you are playing with leverage or anything else. Now, let's take a look at Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has never closed on the weekly below the bull market support band since we got back above it on the, June 23rd. So we did wick into it the last 3 weeks, and during the big liquidation event. We went all the way down to 3,400, way below the bull market support band. But remember, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you know the first thing we'll lose at the end of the bull market is the bull market support band. What I really pay attention to is the 21-week EMA. And then, of course, after that, we have the 50-week. Now, we do touch into the 50-week, but if we start getting strong closes below the 50-week moving average, it's probably time to call it quits. It's the end of the cycle. I'm going bearish. I'm going to probably start looking for way more shorts in this market. And we'll do the same thing with some of our DeFi lending positions. Now, Ethereum is below what I thought was a great accumulation zone. So I've been accumulating ETH heavy since we broke below it. I would like to see us get back above $4,500 marked on this chart, which is just a very strong support zone. Not anymore, or excuse me, used to be a strong support zone, and now more than likely will be a strong resistance area. If we can push back above that, I very much am bullish on ETH to revisiting $5,000. But I know not everyone is watching Bitcoin and ETH. You're into the altcoins, but trust me with this, it is Bitcoin and Ethereum that hold and control the market, and altcoins as a whole will follow. So Bitcoin dominance. We haven't looked at this in a little bit. Bitcoin dominance, obviously you see we have broken out of our uptrend as our descending channel. Bam, we broke right below it. I would love to see us regain above this 60%, 0.2, 0.5 region. Bitcoin dominance right now is showing a little bit of temporary strength. Now back to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance broke down below. Altcoins went massively on the upside. As you can see, we broke completely below the bull market support band on Bitcoin dominance, and we're now getting back up into it. Now, I'm in the selling of into the cryptoverse. We're going to have a much better alt season if Bitcoin can suck some of that liquidity back. And I know that's kind of hard to hear because those who are holding lots of altcoins, that's going to hurt. But we need that fuel to have that parabolic blow off top. And that fuel usually involves people either rotating back into stables or rotating back into Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at total 3 real quick. And you can see that we broke below the 1 trillion area on the weekly. If you check the daily, we bottomed out around $446 billion of market cap, and now we are back above the 1 trillion area. That's awesome because I'd love to regain this and get back up to 1.16 trillion, and then hopefully we can continue on. As you can look at this chart, do I believe this is going to happen? Yes, I do, and I actually believe it's going to happen a lot faster than you realize once it starts. It's just something very, very aware of during this market cycle. So if this helps you, please drop a comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss my next moves. Join our free Telegram group or check us out at dadsdefispace.org. Help support the channel by checking out our links, non-KYC exchange, Blowfin, and Weeks. That is what I trade on. And stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing a video on Aster in the near future. Hope each of you enjoy the rest of your day. And I want to thank you for taking some time out to help support my channel and my mission. Go find us over at Dad's DeFi Space on X at CryptoZone 1013. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay strong out there. Touch some grass. Peace.